Okay, it is a very beautiful day. It is rare that Ireland gets temperatures above 30 degrees Celsius. Yes, I'm recording this a good few days before you're actually watching it now. So I wanted to call out something that's really been bothering me that I'm seeing in comments. There has been an influx of women into the community, or whatever the hell it is that we are. And some people are saying that, they're seeing which way the wind is blowing. They're very cynical about it. And there's a certain sphere on the internet and in particular communities that are pumping out this toxic horse shit. And it's really frustrating because for a number of reasons. And so obviously I'm going to get a few comments below. Let me run through the list of bullshit that I'm going to get. Okay, so they say, pussy beggar, white knight, simp, mangina, you know the usual. I can't believe the skeptic community isn't seeing this. Right? Can't believe you guys aren't seeing this for what it is. They're looking at which way the wind is blowing and they're just changing their tactics accordingly, and it's all about stealing my sources. And these people have a very shallow, narrow-minded, superficial vision of what's actually happening here. It's very superficial. So by that, what I mean? Well, when you have a community that men establish, men build the house. They don't understand. Again, they're almost like the opposite feminists. I might get a bit windy here. They don't understand that society, ultimately human civilization, is the story of boys and girls. This is a collaboration between men and women. All right? A community is not going to stay the same forever. Shockingly, men build the house and women are the interior decorators, as Karen Strahan has said in the past. So of course, once it's been established, the ideas are out there, you should be proud of the contribution that you've made if women are coming into the community, because it means that, well, basically, I can only sell these ideas to a certain group of people in a certain way. Shoe on Head, Blair White, Roaming Millennial, Lawrence Southern, Blonde and the Belly of the Beast, Rage After Storm, Brittany Pettibone. They can sell it in a completely different way and to different people. Everybody is a link in the chain. You're a link in the chain. Just sharing the videos, just commenting, just telling someone, a friend or family member, have you seen this? This is really interesting. This video by Jordan Peterson, this changed my life. And it's worrying that so many people are pushing this away, because what it starts to sound like is basically if you have a vagina, you can't be red-pilled. That's what it comes down to. Some people they're afraid of change. And yes, some of these women are very attractive, and obviously that's makes it a better, an easier sell. I mean, I remember working in a particular corporation where there was a hiring manager and they were looking for a new employee in a particular role, and he was reading out an email that a guy sent to him after the interview, and he said, yeah, such and such, she was very good in the interview, seemed to have much of what we were looking for, but she was just missing one key ingredient. He couldn't say that, because this person was going to be public facing. He couldn't say, yeah, she has to be kind of, she has to be attractive, she has to be hot, because a lot of them were very attractive men and women. And so they were looking for someone attractive. This is the reason why Alex Jones started hiring recently, and he said, oh, we're particularly, we're looking for female presenters right now. So look, there's a reason, right? We know that, attractive people want to hear from them, people want to see them, So this isn't a bad thing. This means that a whole bunch of more people get red pill that I can't red pill because I'm not an attractive woman. But and it's just sad that people seem to think that, oh well, that's it, I'm competing against that. Look, if you want to get exposure on your channel, if you want to matter, you have to make sure you're still doing good work. You should probably do a really good job. Right? When I start losing relevance, it's because I'm not doing good work anymore. And that's it. So I can only do what I can do, and I'm going to focus on my own thing, and I'm going to keep doing it. And there's a line from Doctor Who, actually. I know that's probably not a good example because it's become super feminist lately, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to slightly modify it. It's something that sorry if it's a bit windy here now, but there's a line that the late John Hurt had, and I would say, great shitlords are forged in fire. It is the privilege of lesser shitlords to light the way. There's a nobility in somebody planting a tree, because the person who plants the tree will never get to see it grow to its, full maturity. And this is what I mean, that we're all a link in the chain, and you have to acknowledge that, hopefully, if you're lucky, and this is what I said before in that video, and now for some hope, the hope is that the drop in the ocean that your life represents will leave ripples for those you leave behind. So what I would hope is that someone, somewhere, someday, maybe it's you, watches one of my videos and is inspired to start their own channel and becomes bigger and better at this than I ever was. That's not an intimidating thing, that's a compliment. You want to pass the rugby ball to somebody else so that they can score a try, because you can't always. So I'm under no illusions about my abilities, and there's some smart people out there. Maybe you've got 5 subs right now and you're disillusioned with the whole thing, or maybe you've never uploaded a video, but someday you will, and you'll become far bigger than me. This would be my hope, that I played some contribution. And Sargon the same, Douglas Murray the same. It's the same for anybody. That's what you want to do. You want to leave behind some kind of a legacy for someone else to keep it going, and that person, you will then go on and inspire somebody else. The fact that there's women entering the community espousing these ideas of anti-feminism and anti-social justice, they're selling it, like I say, they're packaging it in a more mainstream way. It's become mainstream, basically. That's what it means by that. It means that you're winning the culture war. Of course, there's those people, they don't want to admit that we're in a culture war. Why? Because they want to still have a monopoly on these ideas. They want to seem that they're the only ones who can espouse them. Bullshit. I'm sorry, but you're just being a dick. There's other people who have stories to tell, and there's women out there who were indoctrinated into this, who are now kind of losing their religion. They're leaving the cult. And they're going to be able to tell a story that you can't. They can tell a story that I can't, because I was never a feminist. So we should be optimistic. We should be happy with this. This is a victory, and I'll take my victories where I can get them. And then, so people who say, but Dave, what if they're just doing it for money? What if, well, firstly, I haven't seen any evidence of any of the people, any of the women that I've supported or have followed me. I haven't seen any evidence of that at all, and you don't have any evidence of it. Now, people have pointed to someone like Lacey Green, but let me tell you something. If Lacey Green wasn't red pilled before, and I was like, I think we should be skeptical of this, that, and the other. She's red pilled now because of the reception that she got from her own group, and how quickly they turned on her and threw her under the bus. So, if you want to get red pilled, all you have to do is take a stand against feminism, and just entertain the notion of talking to anti-SJWs. And once you're left out in the cold, and they're saying horrific things about you, your family, your relationship, that's the fastest way to red pill anybody. Now, as for corporations and the entertainment industry beginning to turn slightly, there was a very good video by Bit of Brit, and this is, I think, a very good observation that she made. I think it was a Bit of Brit, actually. Now I'm kind of questioning who it was, but she talked about a new song or music video by what's her name? The Southern girl who what's her name? Miley Cyrus. So she was before doing the whole feminist liberation, short hair, very provocative, vulgar, overly sexualized, distasteful, that whole image that she had for a while. And now she's gone back to being quite feminine, and her songs are less misandrist, and it's about relationships and love again. Now people look at that, and she's made the observation as well. Yeah, that. So the corporation that's behind her, the record studio, who have just said, the management have said, okay, the wind is blowing in a different direction. The feminism shit isn't selling. It's not popular. There's a lot more conservative women now coming out. And that's another good point why a lot of these guys in the community are complaining about the influx of women. It's not, these women are more likely to be conservative. Right? That's basically what we're seeing. Yes, some of them are liberal, but a lot of them are conservative, and there's a very good reason for that I think we'll get into. But basically the observation that Bitter Brit was making, and she was saying about Miley Cyrus. The Miley Cyrus thing is interesting because it doesn't really matter if that corporation is just simply trying to cash in on a rise of anti-feminism and conservatism. It doesn't matter. It means, it's actually a good thing, because it means that they're being forced into a corner, by dint of losing the culture war, and they're being forced to change their tactics. They obviously want to make money. It's all about money for them. So what? I'll take my victories where I can get them, and that's one of them. If the media is changing, if the entertainment starts to change, if they, you'll know that you're really having an effect when the social justice starts going out of the Marvel comics. They've already gotten heavily criticized for it. So when that starts to happen, you know that you're having a big effect, and a positive one, because the really bad ideas, they become so unpopular as to become untenable and unworkable. The work of Jordan Peterson is red-pilling so many men and women, and I think it's also opening people up again to maybe the traditional conservative values that we've lost, which many of these critics of women entering the movement absolutely despise. Right? So, and what they'll do is, again, they just don't want to compete. But our selected folks tend not to want to anyway, so... But what I find particularly odious about it is that they really are critical of guys who seek to have relationships with women to the point where they actually will those relationships to fail. And this is their attempt to achieve some kind of confirmation bias. So really, we shouldn't take these objections seriously at all, because it's just built on bitterness. There's a frustration and an anger, and it's probably a sexual frustration going on, honestly. Now, the reason why there's an influx of women who are more likely to be conservative makes a lot of sense. In times of stability, in safe, orderly times, the kinds of men that flourish, the revolutionaries, the artisans, the poets, the writers, the creatives, the hipsters, the bohemians. But we're in chaotic times now. More traditional men are going to become more relevant, and look, the women decide who breeds and what genes get passed on to the next generation. So that's the reason why women are going to decide where society goes. But men, look, the whole thing is that much of what we do here is basically saying, guys, look, there's danger. There's danger on the horizon. There's bad ideas. Right? There's another culture that wants to annihilate us. Men are obviously always going to be among the first to point out the danger and to speak out and dissent. Plenty of female dissenters, of course, I can think of, but men are more likely to do it. Men are more likely to talk politics, right? But what happens is that every few generations, women's changing reproductive strategy is the reason why a society vacillates between order and chaos. And the men in a time of chaos, liberalism is what got us into this mess. So those men, they're not going to get selected. We are watching a transition in real time from our selection decay. This is just the natural cycle of things. And also, I would say, guys, honestly, to those people who are being critical of this influx of women and not seeing it for what it is, which is a very, very important thing, what exactly do you think? All right. What do you think an en masse red pilling of women would look like. Exactly. Okay, what kind of red pilling of women would you be happy with? So you've got this entirely subjective standard about, okay, how your measurement of when someone is sufficiently red pilled. Basically, if the person has a penis, I think that's it, isn't it? They can be red pilled. Basically what these guys say is that, you know, these women, once upon a time, they benefited from feminism. Well, that's not working out anymore. Despite the fact that these women will tell you that some of them were feminists, but they were also profoundly unhappy when they're feminists. So the quality of a person's experience should tell you everything, right? And the thing is, these guys say this. They say they used to be feminists and now that's not working out because it's not popular, so they're changing. It couldn't be that the red pilling effect is genuine. So basically what they're saying is, I don't trust women when they were feminists, and now I don't trust them when they're anti-feminists. There is no greater advertisement for the fact that we're winning the culture war, and that the political zeitgeist has changed dramatically over the last couple of years. And I personally am very glad that this has happened. To those very insecure guys out there, intimidated by these women coming in. And what I would say is very simply, there is going to be something new for us to deal with in the next few years. Plenty of new things are coming along. Okay, we defeat one set of bad ideas, and then we, as guys, we lay the groundwork, and the women will come in and they will do the cleanup, and they will make sure that they will bolt the barn door after them, and it will be finished, and it will be over, and then we move on to something else. And yes, we will continue to lead that fight. So many of these men operate in, you know, the arena of the manosphere, and they will point to the issues that men face in divorce courts, child custody, you name it. Well, when a woman steps up to start talking about those things, this is the best advertisement to deal with these issues. You're going to need women to help you get through all of that stuff. But I'm not really sure if some of these guys want women on board, right? Because they have bought into themselves, those guys have bought into identity politics, as they perceive women to be the enemy no matter what. They think they're going to get backstabbed in the end. So that's just a paranoid conspiracy theory on their behalf. If you want your movement to start working on these issues, mainstream it. When the women start coming in, they recognize how toxic feminism is and how dangerous it's been to both genders and the effects that it's had on men. And they do see the gynocentrism. Before too long, things will begin to change. Like I said before in a video I made about reconciling the left and the right, it's the hardest thing to do, is to put aside your animosity, assuming that you harbor it, you know, to the other side. And it's like that old saying, do I not defeat my enemy when I make them my friend? You know, red pilling someone is the greatest gift you can give them. This whole thing is a collaboration between men and women. You know, it's like a dance, right? It's like a waltz. It's a two-step. It's not them and us. It's both of us together in this. Right, so don't let them divide us. They will not divide us. I think it's time we get back to the story, boys and girls. And I couldn't be happier with how things are going. Long may it continue. Thanks, guys. See you next time.